So in the end, which side was more convincing? Joining us now to analyze from Boynton Beach, Florida, is defense attorney Michelle Suskauer, and from Miami, Philip Snyder, a former Florida prosecutor. All right, Philip, let's start with you from the more prosecutorial standpoint. How did the prosecution do as this trial moved forward? There was a lot of criticism early on about how they were not able to reach their benchmarks, burden of proof, and so things kind of changed as the case went on. But what's your take?
Well, here's the thing. It's really a factor of two separate trials. From the moment the incident occurred on, I think the state did a very poor job. I think the fact that they allowed Mr. Zimmerman to enter in his statement without being forced to take the stand was a colossal error. That being said, everything pre-altercation, I think they did a very good job. And I believe that if emotion is the one key factor that the jury places their hat on and places their weight in, there could be the possibility of a manslaughter conviction coming back.
And Philip, you can chime in. You can't supplant emotion with where the facts are supposed to be in a case to prove that element of ill will or anger or visceral hatred of Trayvon Martin or a black person in order to prove that second-degree murder charge. Might be different from the manslaughter.
I would absolutely agree with you. I think they painted themselves in a corner from the beginning by locking themselves into the version that they thought was going to come out. And quite frankly, that version did not come out. That being said, at the end of the day, you still have a 17-year-old child. You still have an individual who's dead through no fault of his own. And I think that if the state could show enough emotion, if the jury puts a lot of weight with that, they may do what they call a split the baby and say, well, we don't want to come back with a murder 2 conviction because they didn't reach that, but we don't want to come back with nothing. This poor kid is dead. They don't realize the ramifications that a manslaughter conviction could be 10 to 30 years. So there is a possibility that if emotion is the primary factor, that they do come back with a manslaughter conviction.
Philip, we only have a little time. Did you think that defense reenactment video that was allowed to be played in the closing, where he did the reenactment of what happened that night, was that powerful?
It was tremendously powerful because the state was kind of wavering as to their theory of how this incident occurred, and the defense said, no, this is how the incident occurred. And what's odd is that that's usually the state's position to do that. In this case, Mark O'Mara did that. It was very powerful.
I think it was actually better to use that in the closing than it would have been to use it in the actual case. That's my take. Counselors, thank you very much.